this time we bring you our top 10 ghostly photos. Ones that we redeemed as being the best of our bunch, and it's quite a growing bunch now. So what we're going to do is enlighten you with the lowdown on ghosts top 10, and here we go. Our number 10 is from a set of camera photographs taken at Pittenweem clock tower on the third floor. Camera left lying while I went back to London. When I came back, there were several photos taken on the motion sensor. What this camera shows is movement in the tower, something moving around. You can see by the shadow in the three pictures, something tall is moving on the staircase, and it was captured on this camera. I had the only key to this building and I was in London, so this is a good catch. Number 9 is a holiday we had up north 3-4 years ago. We went up north and we were at Spian Bridge. At Spian Bridge we drove past this fantastic church. The fantastic church was noticeable because it had a tree lying against the church. A tree had fallen over and hit the church. So we got out to investigate the place and we stayed for a few hours. Inside, it was a ruined church, but not such a ruin. We got access into the building and I had a wander around. And while I was in the hallway, I didn't quite reach the main church pulpit area. Something was moving around between the pews. So I whipped out the camera and it looked like a figure was wandering around the pews. I've got several photographs of this, and what it looks like is the bottom half of a man, a pair of trousers, wandering around the pews. While I was there was papers getting shifted and moved around. It basically, from a distance, looked like a minister setting up for a sermon, putting his papers down and wandering through the pews. The bad news is that this church, not long after I visited here, it burnt to the ground, so the place doesn't exist anymore. Number 8 was an investigation we did last year. We got a call out to a cemetery I'm quite familiar with in Largo. Somebody had seen a figure appearing from behind a stone, walk through a wall and walk down a field which is known as the old coffin walk. So me and Rog went there with our cameras to investigate over 2-3 nights, and we caught this figure on our heat-seeking camera standing next to one of the tombs. It's quite a catch. And also, with a spread of photographs, we picked up a figure standing between two trees. Number 7 is not our photo. It's a photo that was brought to us by some fishermen who were fishing along the northeast Fife coast. This time it brought them to St Andrews. And they were fishing at St Andrews when, during the night, they were disturbed by a figure gliding across the sand as though she left no footprints. This figure frightened the guys, who immediately decided they'd had enough fishing and packed up their gear. As the nun was seen walking down the pier towards the end, she disappeared. As they were in the car, just about to reverse and get out of the place, she reappeared, and they got a photograph from the car as she's coming down the pier. Quite a startling photograph. Number 6 is Archway Hospital. Now this was one of my first captures way back in about 2002. My partner was ill in the hospital. She'd been there for a number of months, and when I was in the hospital I had a double-page spread in one of the Sunday newspapers, and it was on a haunting up here in Pittenweem. And the doctors got to know me through this newspaper cutting, and they invited me to go to the bowels of Archway Hospital and see their own ghost that they had. They took me down to the bowels of the hospital with long corridors and basements. They keep a lot of files there to do with the smallpox years Anyway, I was walked down there with an administrator to the hospital, and we came across a long corridor, and we got halfway up when the woman saw something and started to reverse. She was obviously not hanging about. What we saw was something materializing in the middle of the corridor, a lot of movement, a lot of focus, and I rattled off about 5 photographs. So what you're seeing here is the last of them. This photograph made over 40 newspapers in the UK, and went to some TVs in Poland and America, and it got me well known as a ghost researcher. Number 5 is our celebrated, another age-old haunting that we came across. I wrote a book about the area of St Monans at Newark Castle, where there was a battle fought. And I wrote a book about the Battle of St Monans. So I went there to get a front cover and get some photographs for inside my book. So I went there, I took loads of photographs inside and outside the building. My partner was down on the beach with the dog, and so I had the whole place to myself. It's on a peninsula, 100 feet up. There was no one else there. I took my photographs, and looking up the next day, a figure is there, sleeves up, going into a fenced off section of the castle. You can't get access to that bit, but this woman seems to be going in. She looks like an old fisherwoman, which would have been, there would have been dozens of them at this location all through the years. But there is a reputation here of a grey lady being seen by 18th, 19th century writers. Can't identify this woman whatsoever, but it's a good catch. This photograph made it into about 12 British newspapers, all stealing it off each other. In the national papers, the Sun, the Star, they all picked it up in it. It's a good, clear photograph. It even made #1 on the top 10 on one of Slapped Ham's YouTube videos. So it was the #1 photograph in their haunting section. Number 4 takes us back to Pittenweem, where this time inside the parish church. To get access to the parish church, you have to go to the shop across the road and get the key. So when you come to the church and it's locked, you know that you're the only one in. So I opened up, let myself into the church. I got a feel for the place. It's a lovely wee place. And there was movement on the balcony, and I had my camera with me. So I got a couple of snaps of something moving about in the balcony. There was a dark shot, but once lightened, I wasn't alone in the church. There was someone else there with me. And this picture goes with, I have to say, our number 3 photograph. Number 3 takes us back to Pittenweem again, but this time inside the tower. Now inside the tower, I set up, as I always did, leaving cameras running 24/7 as I was back to London. So I've got the only key to the building. Let's see if my cameras can pick up something when I'm not there. And they duly did. Now to come in the front door of the tower is a spiral staircase of 17 steps to the first floor. So normally with me coming in, the cameras would take a photograph every 2 seconds, and would usually result in 3 photographs of me reaching out to switch the camera off. So when I got to the building, there was 4 photographs, and there's the usual 3 of me coming up the stairs to reach the camera. But the previous day there was a 4th photograph, and this photograph showed a figure standing mid-stairs, a small figure, and he's standing right next to where there used to be an opening leading into the church next door. Is this the same figure as in our previous number 4 catch? Have I got the same man? It does look like it. It's quite a remarkable picture. Number 2 again is taken inside the tower. Now I was leaving the tower to go and do an investigation elsewhere, It was about 11 o'clock at night, and I walked through the tower to make sure there's nobody getting left behind, and a new camera to play with, so every time I passed one of the doors going down the stairs, I took a photograph inside. And so we went to the location, and it wasn't very good where we went to. We got nothing but a dose of the flu, I think. It was so freezing. But erasing photographs the next day, examining and erasing, I got down to the photographs I'd taken in the tower with this new camera, and there was nothing special to look at. But one photograph was so dark, there was some silver shine to it, which made me stop and look at it and think. I lightened the picture and something came out of it. I lightened it again, and then I saw a figure, and the final lighten is, you can see there's certainly a woman standing not more than 3 foot from the camera. This is a remarkable photo. It made all the national newspapers, the Sun, the Star, they all picked up on it, and yeah, that was a good one. Our number one photograph, and this to me is quite unique, is outside the churchyard in Pittenweem, where I was saying cheerio to some guests we had. I'd done a tour inside the tower when one of my friends had a bit of a commotion when he recognised a tall figure standing next to him that wasn't me. He thought it was me. He panicked, the figure disappeared, he explained what he'd just seen, and so I did a camera spread right through the graveyard, and what came out in one of the photographs is this photograph you're looking at now. We call this the shouty man. You can see there's a man, a figure there with a hat, staring at the camera with his mouth open, shouting. I've highlighted the image, and again, this photograph made the newspapers, local and national. And to me, this is quite a scary picture, just due to the venom this thing is imposing at me. That's our top 10 for just now. There's at least 6 photographs that we fought with that never made this top 10, but they could all easily have been in it. We have further investigations to do this year. They're all lining up, and some of them look very fruity indeed. Stay with us, and the way to stay with us is please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got about 20 videos out there now. You can pick and choose your way through them. A lot of them will be from the photographs you've seen today, so you can get the full background stories on these stories if you go down our list of films. Thank you.